after synagogue killings.
And on business, Nigeria's private sector sustains growth as PMI records 10 consecutive months of expansion.
On sports news tonight, Nigeria's Flying Eagles chased their first victory at this year's FIFA Under-20 World Cup as they gear up to battle Saudi Arabia.
And from the nation's capital, court throws out case against President Bola Tinubu over Rivers State emergency declaration.
As the 2027 general elections draws closer, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu is urging the National Assembly to expedite amendments to the country's electoral legal framework. He made the call while receiving members of the European Union Election Observation Mission at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. On the spot, the chief observer of the EU mission, Mr. Barry Andrews, encouraged INEC to ensure full implementation of the recommendations contained in the mission's post-2023 general election report.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is hosting this delegation from the European Union Elections Observer Mission in Nigeria. This is one of the routine follow-up visits by the mission to get updates on the level of implementation of their previous recommendations after the last general elections.
What we are here to do is to look at the recommendations that flowed from the overall mission that were contained in the final report of the mission back in 2023. And we are very happy to see that there has been very significant progress against these recommendations, and we'll be looking forward to hearing what you have to report on the recommendations and the follow-up and implementation of those recommendations since 2023. There are specific areas that require legislative action that I've referred to in my opening comments, and we'd be delighted as a team to hear from you about what progress has been made and what concerns you have about obstacles in the future.
The European Election Observer Mission has made 23 recommendations after the 2023 general elections, with 8 specially directed at INEC for implementation.
The Commission has carefully considered all the 8 recommendations specifically addressed to us in your report. Action has been taken on aspects of the recommendations that only require administrative action to implement. Similarly, action is being taken on cross-cutting recommendations that require collective action between INEC and other bodies and stakeholders, while waiting for the conclusion of the ongoing legal review by the National Assembly on the recommendations that require legislative intervention.
The EU post-2023 general election recommendation is focusing on areas such as electoral administration, an inclusive and publicly accountable mechanism for selecting INEC commissioners and recs, more women representation, improving election technologies, among others. The delegation is hoping that a comprehensive implementation of the report will significantly raise the bar for the country's electoral credibility rating in 2027.
Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, has criticized President Bola Tinubu's Independence Day broadcast, particularly his remarks on the economy, security, and the fight against corruption. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Debo Olugunagba, challenged the president to disclose details of savings made from the removal of the fuel subsidy and provide a clear account of how the funds are being utilized.
The APC has taken us back to the bondage, so we're no longer free. That's what independence means. We're now dependent. And there have been so many reports of so much borrowings that are not tied to anything specific in terms of development or human capital development. It is to be funding appetite, the appetite and corruption of the government and its agencies and their officials. not many, substantial number of Nigerians didn't watch or didn't listen to the president. Why? Because they know it is the same false lies, statistics that are not correct. You said inflation has reduced by 21%, but is that reflected in the marketplace? Those are the issues that on Independence Day, the president should sit back, give an account of his governance in the last year and in the last 2 years. But that didn't happen. From the withdrawal of subsidy, we've heard about trillions being saved. How much is it? In totality, from our own perspective, it's a failed expectation as always, failed narrative, stories that does not attune to what the Nigerian feel on the street.
In Gombe State, the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, today commissioned the State Health Policy document as well as a Federal Medical Center. The event formed part of activities marking the Gombe Health Summit, which brought together several health experts, including the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, alongside representatives of the World Health Organization, UNICEF, and the World Bank. Host Governor Inuwa Yahya described the summit as an opportunity to celebrate the milestones recorded in the state health sector over the past 6 years of his administration.
It is the Maiden Health Summit 2025, tagged Transforming Health System in Gombe State, and it's put together to showcase accomplishments, challenges, and discover the next frontiers in the state's journey of becoming a beacon of excellence in global health systems. In his address at the event, Governor Inuwa Yahya highlights what the state has achieved in the health sector in the last 6 years of his stewardship.
In primary health care, we have revitalized a total of 228 primary health care centers, which is equaling 2 functional facilities per political ward, because we have 114 political wards in Gombe State. These PHCs now offer 24/7 services, meaning they operate 24 hours throughout the week and are fully equipped with solar power, dedicated boreholes, and staff quarters. We established a state task force on primary health care and immunization.
The Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Halipate, commends Governor Inuwa Yahya's disruptive and homegrown initiatives that have so far changed the negative indices in the health sector.
We know that there are homegrown solutions that Gombe State has also created. The human resource management that you in Gombe State piloted is now a beacon of hope across our country in terms of how to harness and manage the human resources that is available in our healthcare system. And that's an example that other states, I believe, will benefit.
Next, the special guest of honor, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, salutes the state government's strides in the health sector.
I heard all the transformative and transformational trailblazing strides that you have taken in the health sector, and also producing pharmaceuticals too. Is that not what I think I heard a lot? You have so much robust agenda for the health sector, and I can't help but applaud you today. You've done so well, and it's just very sad for me to just come in and just leave without really having the opportunity to look at the various approach and strategy you want to use to move your state forward.
Shortly after her speech, she then launched the Gombe Health Policy document and inaugurated the Federal Medical Center, Kumo. Gombe State says it will continue to up its health initiatives till everyone in the state gets access to qualitative universal health coverage.
Staying with the health sector, the presidential initiative on unlocking the healthcare value chain is set to partner with the Scientific Products Association of Nigeria on capacity building and improved supply chain management for pharmaceutical products in the country. The national coordinator of the initiative, Dr. Abdul Mukhtar, made this known during an advocacy visit by the Association's leadership to his office in Abuja.
Looking at what you do, you are a natural partner, obviously, to PVAC in that part. And then the last KPI mandate that we have from the president is to create jobs along the various parts of the healthcare value chain, which is what many of you are doing in your various companies, but also to mobilize resources both internally and foreign direct investment. So this is how we've been operating, and the way we do this is just from listening to the team members. And so a lot of the things that you see us doing in PVAC is really based on feedback that we're getting from the industry. So what are your problems? And then we try to address them. So it's good that we're working with the Healthcare Federation of Nigeria as well, which is a broader, I don't know that some of your members are probably members of that as well. But I think a very dedicated group association based on laboratories, I think is in order.
Meanwhile, President of the association, Dr. Kate Issa, expressed optimism that the partnership will advance progress in the health sector, particularly by strengthening quality reference standards.
Most of what's going on in the world right now, personalized precision, we're not in it. We need to get in it. Yeah. So with that said, Scientific Products Association of Nigeria, all of a sudden, is a very important association. We equip laboratories. We supply products into laboratories. Laboratories where the pharmaceuticals are tested for quality to make sure they won't kill people when they take them. If Nigeria also wants to participate in the Africa Continental, our products have to be good, and we have to be able to export them.
And there's more on healthcare. Kaduna State has recorded another milestone in its health sector as Governor Uba Sani has commissioned the state-free emergency medical services and ambulance system designed to enhance rapid response to accidents and other medical emergencies across the 23 local government areas. At the commissioning ceremony, Governor Sani described the initiative as a landmark achievement and reaffirmed his administration's commitment to saving lives.
The commissioning of the free emergency medical services and ambulance system marks a milestone in Kaduna State's health sector, as the initiative is part of Governor Basani's broader healthcare reforms aimed at reducing preventable deaths and improving access to quality services. The new system features a fleet of ambulances fitted with life-saving equipment, a central dispatch center staffed with trained personnel and emergency medical technicians who will stabilize patients en route to the hospital. It will function 24 hours across the local government areas, covering both urban and rural communities.
Your Excellency, sir, through these reforms and commitments of yours, you have positioned Kaduna State as a pace setter in the journey towards universal health coverage in Nigeria. Through CAD-SEMSAs, particularly those involving our women, children, accident victims, they will now be managed with greater efficiency. This system will ensure prompt transportation from communities to primary healthcare centers and onward referral to secondary and tertiary facilities, with treatment provided at no cost for the first 48 hours.
It is expected that these ambulances procured by the Governor Obasani administration will not only support road safety response, but also help in maternal services and disaster emergencies across the state.
What we are launching today is not merely a program. It is a bold statement about the value we place on every life, in emergencies, whether it is medical crisis, childbirth complication, accident, or surgical need.
Governor Sani also talks about the successes of the health sector reforms by his administration.
With this integration, emergency care is no longer a privilege for urban dwellers. It becomes a right for all Kaduna citizens. We are closing the access gap, reducing avoidable deaths, and strengthening public trust in our health system.
Hello? Afternoon. Yeah.
With the new ambulances set to go into immediate operations, the Kaduna state government says emergency response time will be significantly reduced. While for residents, the initiative offers renewed hope for a safer and healthier state.
In part two, after the break, African Missions Global and the British Council signed MOU to train 40 teachers in digital program. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu asked the National Assembly to expedite electoral reform amendments. PDP challenges President Tinubu to reveal subsidy savings. Gombe State Government unveils health policy document aimed at advancing healthcare services. And Prime Minister Keir Starmer says Britain must confront rising anti-Semitic hate after synagogue killings. Education is often described as the backbone of a developing society, and strengthening the capacity of educators is key to ensuring better student outcomes and overall societal progress. This was the focus at the British Consul office in Lagos, where African Mission Global signed a memorandum of understanding with the British Consul to roll out a structured digital teacher training program. The initiative is targeted at school leaders and teachers within AMG's education network, with the aim of enhancing teaching quality and performance. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ubani, reports.
The UN's SDG Goal 4.7 aims to ensure inclusive, equitable, quality education and promotes lifelong learning for all, and says that educators are vital in achieving this. Based on this, African Missions Global, a not-for-profit organization and innovation of wife of the General Overseer of the RCCG, Pastor Folu Adeboye, is scaling its impact in Nigeria's education sector by providing a structured digital training program for school teachers and teachers within its education network.
Thank you for joining us today.
This it is doing in partnership with the British Council, which has for decades supported the education system in Nigeria and trained over 30,000 teachers in the country.
We have trained around 30,000 teachers, and that it's really important for us, given the work that we do. But what's more important is the wider impact that this has. As I say, it's not just a one-off investment. What we do is invest in communities of practice and the support for the wider ecosystem.
Piloting the program is 40 teachers drawn from various schools already within the AMG's network in Lagos. It plans to scale up to 1 million people by the year 2027. Chairman of AMG's Board of Trustees, Pastor Brown Oyiso, speaks on the provisions under the partnership.
This alliance with the British Council is not just symbolic, it's deeply strategic. It brings together AMG's grassroots presence across communities and the British Council's global expertise in education and capacity development.
The pilot training will be 3 months. The first level will be 3 months. There's a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3. And so the first level will be 3 months, and those who are successful in the first level will then move on to the second level and hopefully to the third level.
Founded in July of 1996, African Missions Global is passionate about lives. It exists for service to God and humanity, and over the last decade has been involved in various projects for education by building schools, adopting schools, awarding scholarships, as well as leadership trainings. Its influence reaches beyond Nigeria, with more locations in its sites. Amarachi Ubani, Channel Television News.
Right about now, let's head to the nation's capital, and Victoria Long John is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Victoria.
Many thanks, Ayo. Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed a suit filed against President Bola Tinubu over the proclamation of a state of emergency in Rivers State. The case, instituted by Belema Briggs and 4 others, was struck out on the grounds that the plaintiffs lacked the legal standing to challenge the proclamation. In his ruling, Justice Omotosho held that such a matter can only be determined by the Supreme Court alone. He further noted that none of the plaintiffs identified as members of the State Executive Council, the House of Assembly, or held the authority of the State Attorney General to initiate the action. And it's good news for residents of the Federal Capital Territory, as the FCT administration today flagged off an integrated solar lighting project aimed at ending years of darkness in Abuja. Speaking at the launch, FCT Minister Mr. Nyesom Wike said the project will illuminate major parts of the city. He explained that the initiative is expected to enhance security, reduce wasteful spending on maintenance, and safeguard public infrastructure from sabotage. Our correspondent Benny Ark reports.
Thank you very much. You may be seated.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration has launched the installation of solar lighting systems across the nation's capital to address poor lighting and insecurity. The flag of ceremony drew lawmakers, area council chairmen, traditional rulers, security agencies, market women, youth, and other stakeholders. According to the FCT administration, the project will cover major districts and relieve government of wasteful maintenance bills.
The project is designed to provide uninterrupted lighting across various categories of routes, thereby enhancing the nighttime safety for vehicles and pedestrian movement.
Nyesom Wike.
FCT Minister Nyesom Wike believes that the city has been in darkness due to vandalism and sabotage on street lights.
When we came on board August 2023, one thing anybody who visits Abuja or who resides in Abuja will identify is that totally almost 80% of the entire city is darkness. 2, there was this issue of insecurity when we came on board. And so we are trying to see how do we tackle this issue. If we continue to leave Abuja in darkness, obviously insecurity will increase.
The minister promised that technology and strict security measures will protect the new installations, warning that those who profited from the old system will be stopped.
By the grace of God, in the next 7 months, like I said, with commitment, it will be a different thing. Anybody coming to Abuja, not only will you see good roads, you will see it being lit up. When you are flying, you go to cities and you begin to wonder how beautiful the cities are. Why? Because of light. But here, immediately you're landing, instead of you to see light, you see what? Darkness. It will no longer be the same by the grace of God. And I want to assure everybody that this job will be done and done very well. If there's one project we are determined to achieve, it is this light of Abuja.
The administration says the solar lighting project will transform Abuja's nightscape, boost security, reduce waste, and deliver lasting value to residents. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
And to some company news now in Kano State, the NNPC Foundation has launched an agricultural training program designed to boost food security and promote climate-resilient farming. The initiative has already reached more than 7,000 farmers across 4 geopolitical zones of the country, equipping them with modern techniques to improve productivity and sustainability. Our correspondent Sadiq Ilyasu tells us more.
Farmers and youth gathered at Rimfa College in Kano
for the launch of a new agricultural training program targeted at improving farm outputs and building climate-resilient practices. Representing the Commissioner of Agriculture, Mr. Bashir Sunusi, said the initiative is timely, adding that it will boost food security.
Together, we will uplift our farmers, strengthen our community, and contribute meaningfully to Nigerians and food sufficiency and economic stability of the country.
Representing the MD of the NNPC Foundation, Director of Finance Eugenia Chinedu disclosed that the program has already engaged over 7,000 farmers across 4 geopolitical zones of the country.
So far, the program has covered the geopolitical zones, South-East, South-South, South-West, and North-Central in total. The program has engaged 7,119 registered farmers with a peak participation of 7,063 farmers. These figures are not just statistics. They are evidence of trust and of farmers' readiness to adopt practices that improve yield and livelihood.
Stakeholders at the event said the initiative will make youth more employable and position Kano to lead as the food basket of Nigeria.
I think Kano has a food basket. Kano has a lot of grains that they need to be managed properly. Thank God for the program of this NNPC. You will agree with me that when you go to the market and see tomatoes in this land, something has to be done to ensure that all these efforts by the farmers are not going to be a waste.
Some of the participants believe the training will have a positive impact to their farming activities.
You know, we have learned so many things. From yesterday, we have started learning about soil management, how to check our soil, the fertility of our soil, how to use our locally seeds.
With this type of programs, farmers have learned a lot, and we hope that more of this type of exercises will be introduced.
The agricultural training program is expected to impact thousands of farmers, strengthen food production, and contribute to the state's economic development. Sadiq Ilyasu, Channels Television News.
Now still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's private sector sustains growth as PMI records 10 consecutive months of expansion. That's on Business News. To join us again. Welcome back to the news at 10. The Deputy High Commissioner of South Africa to Nigeria, Ambassador Lindy Minele, is asking South Africans to always honor their culture and diversity while remembering the sacrifices of those who paid the ultimate price for the nation's freedom. She made the remark at an event held in Abuja to commemorate South Africa's Heritage Day. According to Ambassador Minele, the day not only celebrates the country's diverse cultures and traditions, but also serves as a moment to reflect on the struggles and triumphs of its people. It was a colorful evening showcasing the rich cultural diversity of South Africa as the country's Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ms. Lindy Minele, hosts guests at this year's South Africa Heritage Day celebration. The Heritage Day is more than just a public holiday in South Africa. It's a moment for the Rainbow Nation to reflect on its rich diversity, culture and traditions. But beyond the celebration of local heritage, the country is showcasing its tourism opportunities.
Africa has got offerings that will trigger your joy. If you are somebody who loves being close to the coast, we have offerings in that regard. If you love natural offerings, the mountains, the rivers, the waterfalls, Mpumalanga would be your place to go to. If you are sort of a high-class traveler, we are not leaving you behind. We have Cape Town for you. And for the business leaders in the room, Johannesburg is waiting for you.
South Africa and Nigeria share deep historic bonds, and the country reaffirms its commitment to that unity.
We are doing a whole lot of business with Nigeria. Nigeria is doing a lot of business with us. And we have different offerings as a country. For instance, Nigeria has been very leading in the continent in terms of energy. South Africa, we are still getting ourselves into that space. South Africa has been a huge mining economy. Nigeria is tapping into that economy. So there's a lot that we can share with each other. There's a lot that we can learn from one another. So working together, we have no alternative to that but to do exactly that, to pull together, work together, collaborate, and make sure that we are pulling one another up in terms of the economic development.
As South Africa celebrates Heritage Day, it's a reminder that heritage is not only about honoring the past, but also about building bridges for the future. And for Nigeria and South Africa, the heritage of partnership remains a powerful force in shaping Africa's destiny. And that's it from the nation's capital. It's now back to Ayo for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you so much, Victoria. As Nigeria marks its 65th independence anniversary, the Household of God Church joined the national celebration in grand style. The milestone was honored with a dazzling display of color, culture, and song, a vibrant tapestry reflecting the nation's resilience and its enduring hope for a brighter future.
65 years on, the Household of God Church transforms into a vibrant sanctuary of national pride, marking Nigeria's Independence Day with splendor. The room is anchored by majestic green and white cake, a sweet symbol of sovereignty, adorned with the coat of arms, and complemented by generous baskets and bags of cheers for all who gathered. The atmosphere comes alive as members embody their heritage, dancing through the celebration. It's a carnival of culture, as towering headdresses, flowing robes, glinting beads, and ceremonial props all merge in a glorious tapestry of Nigerian identity. The spiritual climax arrives as lead pastor Chris Okotie delivers his address, a powerful affirmation of Nigeria's enduring strength and unyielding permanence.
Nigeria is here to stay. At 65, we stand on the terra firma of faith and hope in God. And in the teeth of 1,000 contradictions, we'll continue to march forward with resilience and tenacity towards El Dorado, chanting slogans of patriotism and national jingoism, so that the people would know that Nigeria is strong, Nigeria is bold, Nigeria is resilient, and Nigeria has come to stay. No shaking. Happy anniversary to everybody. God bless you.
My wish is that we continue to excel in technology, we continue to excel in our faith, we continue to excel in being proud Nigerians, because we are supernatural people. We have supernatural power, supernatural energy given to us by the power of God. I know that this 65 is just the beginning of all greater things to come, and I'm just thankful and grateful to be alive in a century where Nigeria and Nigerians are continuing to be celebrated in industry, technology, and music.
The day closes not just as an anniversary, but as a testament to the nation's united spirit, rich culture, and boundless hope.
Meanwhile, as part of activities marking Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary, youths in Lagos were hosted to a vibrant fiesta in commemoration of the milestone. More than just a festival, the event served as a platform for dialogue, inspiration, and nation building. Convener of the gathering, Bolatito Ajibode, applauded the resilience and creativity of the Nigerian youth, stressing that the nation's future rests not only on its leaders, but also on the courage, ingenuity, and determination of its young people to harness opportunities hidden within challenges.
The Mori-Okola Park in Victoria Island, Lagos, hosts the maiden edition of the Prodiva Independence Day Fiesta, themed Prosperity in Our Diversity.
Let's convert those problems to opportunities.
According to convener Bolatito Ajibode, the goal is to inspire nationalism, patriotism, and entrepreneurship among Nigerians.
It's just for us to reflect and to start acting. To agree collectively that the real problems are not real problems. Yes, they are what? Opportunities that we all need to tap into.
We are the flavor of the earth. We are the kindest, the fastest, the strongest. Our fortunes are not tied to the motherland. Wherever we find our feet, we succeed. So pronounce our names correctly.
The event blends entertainment with dialogue, featuring spoken word and music.
I'm alive, and so is this country.
In her keynote address, climate and social entrepreneur Ifedolapo Rushewe highlights how her recycling enterprise has created opportunities across ethnic and religious divides.
Where people see waste, we see resources, we see value, and that's essentially what we have, what we do, and what we have at Free Recycle. And that is the genesis of our foundational philosophy, which is waste to wealth. And we have so many bright minds, our youth, the young people, they have so many ideas. We don't want to also export these ideas. It's not just about our natural resources. We are also exporting bright minds. We are exporting ideas, and that needs to stop.
A panel session with industry leaders shares stories of resilience and innovation, encouraging young Nigerians to persevere despite challenges.
In the course of my career, the people you've worked for, they can take pride in the work that you've done, enough to say we'd like to work with you. And of course, also be a very disciplined person, because people are going to be working for you. And you have to be the leader that will get them to be, to aspire, to look up to you and be the best possible version of themselves.
The count of three, I want the A to be over the roof. 1, 2.
The Independence Day Fiesta concludes with the cutting of the anniversary cake.
Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Business News is up next with Will Ibong.
Thank you, Ayotunde. We kick off with the latest report from Stanbic IBTC, which shows that Nigeria's private sector closed the third quarter firmly in growth territory as the Purchasing Managers Index posted 53.4 points in September, marking the 10th straight month above the 50 points benchmark. Now, while slightly lower than August 54.2 points, the index still reflects a solid strengthening of business conditions. Now, the report shows marked improvements in output and new orders driven by stronger customer demand and the launch of new products. Business activity expanded sharply across all 4 major sectors, while job creation quickened to its fastest pace since October 2023. Now, firms also boosted purchasing and stockpiles to meet both current and future demand as supplier delivery times shortened for a 5th straight month. More importantly, inflationary pressures eased. Companies reported input costs rising at the slowest pace in 2.5 years, with purchase price inflation at its weakest since March 2020. Although firms still lifted selling prices, output inflation was the second softest in more than 5 years. Businesses remain optimistic about the year ahead, though sentiment dipped to a 4-month low, suggesting cautious confidence as the economy continues its recovery. Now, economic experts have expressed divergent views over the increase in the monthly allocation to the states and local governments in the country by the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, that's FAAC. And now, speaking on our Business Morning show earlier today, senior economist at SPM Professionals, Mr. Paul Alaje, commended the level of improvement in infrastructure and other sectors of the economy in some states,
while the CEO of APT Securities, Mr. Garba Kufi, lamented the negligence of key areas by some subnationals.
We can see that there has been a lot of improvement in what goes to subnationals from FAAC. Even the federal government has had more in terms of revenue. But from the numbers we have picked, 8 of the 36 states, we have seen significant improvement in their infrastructure deployment. Meanwhile, the remaining, I think they've concentrated more on recurrent expenditure as well as agriculture. For many of them, we have not seen so much in terms of impact on health, but we have seen impact on agriculture for some states. Some states, it has been more impact on infrastructure. For FCT, what has been very obvious, among other things, is the impact on infrastructure. So we have seen subnational implemented some of the infrastructural strides, but this is not ubiquitous to all the subnationals from the states and the numbers that we have picked.
The state and the local government are getting, I can say it's beyond reasonable doubt that they are washed with a lot of fun. Because today, a minimum a local government will get, even the lowest local government will get 600 million in a month. But where is this money? The money is not being spent in the cost-benefit analysis. Today, if you take an average worker, 50% of his money go for rent. I challenge which of the states that have gone into building houses to subsidize this cost.
Now with that, we head to the domestic equities market, which resumed from the Independence Day holiday in positive territory as PZ Cussons Nigeria PLC led the gainers today after reporting a 12% growth in profit for the first quarter of 2026. Ladi Williams tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the market wrap. Well, from a bullish September, October seems to be following the trend from last month. And we're starting off with a 0.19% gain, 142,979 points for the all-share index, 90 trillion, that's for the market cap. We look at the gainers chart today. We see PZ Cussons Nigeria PLC. That led the gainers chart today. The company reported a 12% profit growth in the Q1 2026. That's for the 2026 financial year there. We know they have a different calendar there. 37,995 Kobodausi close. Turner, that's in oil and gas. That's up 9.94% today. Then for the laggards today, we see RT Briscoe. That led the losers 9.89% down, 3.37 Kobo. So there you have it. The trading day right after Nigeria's Independence Day celebration is bullish.
Thank you, Ladi. We look forward to a positive November, or let me say October. Now let's see the snapshot of closing numbers for other major equities now. And that's business news. It's back to you, Ayatunde.
Thank you, Will. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says Britain must confront rising anti-Semitic hate after 2 people were killed at a synagogue in Manchester. Meanwhile, the police have taken into custody 3 suspects, 2 men in their 30s and a woman in her 60s on suspicion of instigation of acts of terrorism. Here's Simon Pearson with more international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Mass layoffs of US federal workers will begin within 2 days, the White House says, as lawmakers trade blame over the first government shutdown in almost 7 years. The shutdown began on Wednesday after Republicans and Democrats in Congress failed to agree a new spending plan before the midnight deadline. There is little sign of either side being willing to compromise, and a vote to end the shutdown failed just hours after it began.
Still time for Democrats to pass this clean bipartisan bill that's sitting before them, and we encourage our Democrat colleagues to do that.
Republicans control the Senate, the House, and the White House. They must have a plan to solve this.
French soldiers have boarded an oil tanker believed to be part of Russia's shadow fleet, used to evade sanctions imposed because of the war in Ukraine. The Boracay left Russia last month and was off the coast of Denmark when unidentified drones forced the temporary closure of several airports last week. It has been anchored off western France for a few days. French President Emmanuel Macron said at an EU leaders' summit that the crew had committed serious offences, but did not elaborate. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said Russia had no knowledge of the vessel.
Everybody else, get back! If you're not involved, move back!
2 people have died after a car and stabbing attack at a synagogue in Manchester, with a third person, thought to be the suspect, believed to be dead after being shot by police. Police say the suspect's condition cannot be confirmed due to suspicious items on his person, with a bomb disposal unit at the scene. Pictures showed a man with items around his waist. 3 other members of the public are in a serious condition, with police saying a large number of people were worshipping at the synagogue on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar.
The attack in Manchester this morning is absolutely shocking, and all of our thoughts are with those affected. I'm on my way back to London. When I arrive, I will chair an emergency COBRA meeting. I'm already able to say that additional police assets are being deployed to synagogues across the country, and we will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe.
This is the Israeli Navy. You are approaching a blockaded zone.
The Israeli Navy has intercepted boats carrying aid to Gaza and detained the activists aboard, including the Swedish climate campaigner Greta Thunberg. Israel's foreign ministry said several vessels that form part of the global Sumud flotilla had been safely stopped, and that those aboard were being transferred to an Israeli port. It added that the Navy had told vessels to change course as they were approaching an active combat zone. The GSF described the interception as illegal and not as an act of defence, but a brazen act of desperation. At least 2 people have been killed in Morocco after police opened fire to prevent protesters from storming a police station near the coastal city of Agadir. These are the first deaths reported since huge youth-led protests broke out across Morocco on Saturday, as anger grows over the government's decision to build football stadiums for the 2030 FIFA World Cup, rather than improving public services and tackling the economic crisis. Afghans have taken to the streets to rejoice in the restoration of internet and telecom services after the Taliban government shut them down, provoking widespread condemnation. A source close to the government confirmed that the internet was back by order of the Taliban Prime Minister. The 48-hour blackout disrupted businesses and flights, limited access to emergency services, and raised fears about further isolating women and girls, whose rights have been severely eroded since the Islamist group swept back to power in 2021. And the Tesla boss Elon Musk has become the first person ever to achieve a net worth of more than $500 billion, as the value of the electric car company and his other businesses have risen this year. Alongside Tesla, valuations of his other ventures, including the artificial intelligence startup xAI and rocket company SpaceX, have also reportedly climbed in recent months. The milestone further cements Musk's status as the world's richest person, well ahead of rivals in the global tech sector. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. In a few hours' time, Nigeria's Flying Eagles will lock horns with Saudi Arabia in the ongoing FIFA Under-20 World Cup finals in Chile. Barcelona's return to the Camp Nou has been delayed again after the Spanish champions confirmed that the stadium would not be ready to host the club's next Champions League match against Olympiacos. The Catalan giant had been hoping to gain a permit from the city council in time for the third game of their European campaign on October the 21st, but instead that match will be played at the Olympic Stadium. More than 2 years since the start of renovation works, the famous stadium is still not ready to host matches, even with a reduced capacity. The final capacity of the Camp Nou is expected to be 105,000. That Sports is back to you, Ayo.
Many thanks, Chris. And the main news again. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu is asking the National Assembly to expedite electoral reform amendments. The INEC boss made the charge when he received the EU mission in his office in Abuja. The PDP is challenging President Bola Tinubu to reveal savings from the removal of petrol subsidy. And UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer today said Britain must confront rising anti-Semitic hate after a synagogue killings in Manchester. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. Do have a good night.